OVAthletics.com STREAMcast. We're brought to you by Ohio Valley Nutrition. I've got to go there this weekend, Zach. I got to get some protein powder. I was told, hey, you got to go here, get your protein powder. They're going to set me up something nice.
We can't say enough about our great sponsor at OV Nutrition. I mean, they're going to give us the best stuff, great source for multivitamins, anything else that you might need, and just be sure to go out and talk to them. I mean, I'm sure when you go out there, you'll probably walk away with 3 or 4 products you didn't even know you needed.
I mean, I know that multivitamin, that little packet, you put it in some water. The big thing for myself and Tom is taste. Wonderful. The cinnamon, whatever, I'm not allowed to say, the whole cereal. That protein powder, excellent.
Fantastic.
I mean, it's just excellent. So go to Ohio Valley Nutrition for all your nutrition needs. Visit them at St. Clairsville. Go visit them at Steubenville, and they'll set you up something good.
It's awesome. So,
yeah.
Huge shout out to our sponsor. Thank you for sponsoring the Streamcast. It really means a lot to us, and
yes.
It's fantastic. So we'll go ahead and jump into our first segment. We have our game recaps this week.
We got a lot of stuff going on, Zach. This is playoff time. This is championship time. This is the time when you're watching sports. You're watching the best of the best. So, hey, we've got some soccer news for you. Our local team, Wheeling Park, made it to the state tournament, so they go to the semifinals. Right. They fall to Greenbrier East, 2-1 in the semifinals. Nice, tight, close game. That's Greenbrier East. That's their first state title in soccer, in boys soccer. So they win their first one. Wilson Hanna scored Park's lone goal. Park finished the season 16-5-4. Now, they were on a 10-game win streak coming in. So you got to look at them. They were 6-5-4. They win 10 straight games coming into this one. Now, Zach, they returned Trey McLeod.
Yep.
You know Trey.
Trey's a good kid.
Okay. They return Wilson Hanna, who I just mentioned, scored their only goal. And then they also bring back Gavin Border, their goalkeeper, for next year. So they've got a nice core coming in for next year.
That's a great piece to move ahead or move forward with, too. So, I mean, it's great when you can keep a leadership core there. I mean, you and I both know it as well as anybody. When you have a leadership core in a team that you can keep together for another year, especially a team that had enough juice to go on a 10-game win streak.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's some leadership there and some qualities that are going to be able to sort of carry over and lead by example next season.
And something they may look forward to, too, is Greenbrier East went on to win the state tournament.
Right.
So, you lose by 1 goal to a team that won the state title. You're right there. You're close, Zach.
I mean, it's definitely a heartbreaker for Wheeling Park. I mean, like I said, that 10-game win streak is nothing to sneeze at. So, I mean, it's one of those that's going to stick in your craw at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Losing a tight game like that's never easy, but it's definitely something that may motivate them moving through the offseason.
Yeah. Now, moving on to the girls' side of the pitch. I believe I used that right. Correct, Tom?
Correct.
Okay. We have 2 Valley teams in the state finals.
That's
we have
fantastic.
Morgantown and Parkersburg South. Morgantown edged them out in overtime 2-1. Now, listen to this, Zach. Gracie Brown scored in double overtime in the semifinals for Morgantown to move on. Who scored the game-winning goal in overtime for Morgantown?
Since we're talking about her, I'm going to assume Gracie is going to do that.
Gracie Brown scored the goal in overtime, so she had a great weekend, Zach. She had a great weekend.
Pretty great weekend, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you might recognize the name. She's the daughter of the WVU's women coach, Nikki Izzo Brown.
Oh, well, so
she
obviously
probably gets it, honestly.
In that bloodline, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. And so, when you see that, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Her mom coaches WVU, probably coaches her a little bit on the side, probably gives her some tips.
Probably a couple of travel clubs, too.
Some travel clubs. And then she scores a goal overtime in the semifinals and finals.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You couldn't, that sounds like sort of the sports movie script there.
Yeah, definitely.
Arguably the best coach at WVU right now.
Ooh. Yeah, could be.
I'll put it up there.
Definitely.
Played a few of the games, and she's phenomenal.
And I know that
I have a hard time going against Huggy Bear, but I'll take it.
The WVU women's soccer team is really good.
What about the rifle team coach?
The rifle team coach also good. And the men's soccer team down there at WVU, they're not taking a back seat to the women's soccer team. Definitely.
I think all those teams have made some pretty deep runs in the Big 12.
They're in the Big 12 tournament right now. So we'll take a look at that. Morgantown finishes 21-1. The seniors won a state title this year, and a state title as a freshman. So they enter with a state title and they leave with a state title.
That's awesome. It's like a great appetizer and a great dessert.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on, now we're going to go onto the court. We're going to go volleyball, Zach.
Go volleyball, all right.
And you're talking volleyball in the Ohio Valley. You're going to talk about Union Local. And I think Tom even said something, hey, you don't talk about Union Local volleyball. I was like, we talk about Union Local volleyball almost every week.
I was going to say, I feel like we've talked about UL volleyball for a lot of time.
Okay, they move on. OHSAA Final Four. Okay, they win a regional championship this past weekend. They beat New Lexington in 4 sets. Okay, so now they're regional champions. That's an accomplishment. Now I'm going to tell you this, Zach. They're the only team from Belmont County to win a regional championship in volleyball.
Interesting.
Yeah, only team ever.
Wow. That's wild.
Okay, so now they're on to the Final Four. The only other OVAC school to make it to the Final Four was Indian Creek in 1998.
And that's crazy because, I mean, I think the Ohio Valley in particular, I mean, that high school has a pretty good hotbed of volleyball, too.
Yes.
So, I mean, a lot of decent athletes there, too. So it's kind of shocking that that's the case, but congratulations, Union Local. That's outstanding.
That just tells you how deep Ohio is. You know, when you get into the playoffs, you know, you don't play 1 round, 2 rounds, you're playing regional semifinals, regional finals, you know, then you're playing in the state tournament. So, you got to play a lot of matches, a lot of games.
Especially in a sport like volleyball, where it's a best of 5 sets. I mean, so if you have a tough team, you're playing 5 sets, then you could turn around and play 5 sets again in 2 days. I mean, there's not a lot of downtime there, especially in the playoffs where everything sort of shrunk down a little bit more, too.
And I think we always know who we mention when we say Union Local Volleyball. Hey, but guess what, Zach? I have some new names for you.
Oh, we got some new names.
I have some new names for you. How about Olivia Worthman? She has 8 kills in the match. Okay, Ella Pytranton had 7 kills and 3 blocks.
I'm happy you went for that one because that would have been a block for me.
Kelly Grass. Now listen to this. This has to be a great stat. Kelly Grass has 38 assists.
Holy
38
moly.
assists and 13 digs. Okay, Julie Broussard had 14 digs. Emma Yeager had 4 aces and 8 digs, and we can't be remiss.
We can't.
Okay, we have to mention
Tori Cutout. I think we've mentioned her every week we've talked volleyball.
The Ohio University commit, I think she's going to sign this week, 25 kills. But it's not just her.
No.
As you can see, look at that. Across the board, you have,
you got a handful of kids.
Digging. There are 38 assists. How do you get 38 assists?
You got a handful of kids there on top of Tori Kildau there. I mean, only 6 can be on the court at a time, right?
Yeah.
And when you have that many that are all registering, I mean, it really shows the strength of that team and how well they're playing together, too.
Now, some of these girls were also on the Final Four basketball team from last year. So in one calendar year, they've made it in the Final Four in basketball and volleyball.
That sounds like a couple of Sherrard teams you've had in the past,
we've had some pretty good ones. So moving on. Great job, Union Local. Good job. This Saturday, they'll be playing in the semifinals in the state tournament.
So does that go to Columbus or centrally located in Ohio?
I believe it's in Columbus. I think that's where they play. Cool. Yeah. So on the West Virginia side, Morgantown defeated Bridgeport. They move on to the state tournament.
Fantastic.
And I know Tom did a nice article on Oak Glen's soccer team. Oak Glen's volleyball team's the 3 seed. They're going to face Liberty Harrison. The tournament starts Thursday. Down in Charleston. So good luck to Morgantown. Good luck to Oak Glen. Represent us well and bring back some state titles.
We always like to see some Valley teams representing us downstate.
Definitely. So now we've done some soccer. We've done some volleyball. We're talking about championships. Moving on to football, Zach. And here we go. Blair, the Big Reds, they're going to move on to the regional semifinals. They get a big 42-15 win over Worthington Christian.
42-15.
Hey, when we talk about Blair, we talk about Ray Ray.
Have to.
Do you know what they did with Ray Ray this week?
What did they do with Ray Ray?
They put him in the backfield.
Interesting.
Ray Ray's a wide receiver. They like to throw it. They like to throw it to him. They get Jake Hetherington back there, throw it to him.
That.
They put him in the backfield and handed it to him. And he just, I don't know if he's a better running back than he's a receiver. He was all over the place in that game.
Sounds a little bit like what your San Francisco 49ers have been doing the last few seasons.
Definitely. Maybe they took a page out of their book, or maybe San Francisco takes a page out of Blair's book. I don't know. But great job, Blair. I mean, that's not 42-15 in the second round of the playoffs in Ohio. You're rolling pretty well.
It doesn't happen a whole lot.
No.
I mean, usually in Ohio, once you get past that first round, everything sort of tightens down a little bit. To see a score that margin that large is kudos to Bel Air for that. I mean, continue to do their game and continue to roll well. Yeah, and we'll continue. We'll tell you a little bit about Bel Air later in the show. Yeah. Where they're playing, who they're playing in our preview segment. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, the season came to an end for another local team. St. Clairsville falls to Bishop Ready 24-21. That's a close game, Zach.
Tough one. It's tough.
St. Clairsville, they fell behind 24-7 going into the fourth quarter. Okay, they scored 2 touchdowns. They come real close to getting an onside kick. They had a couple other scoring opportunities in the second half that it just didn't go their way. But a great season for the Red Devils. I know going into the season, people were kind of questioning them. What's your identity going to be? Who's going to be the star? What's going to happen?
I know when the preview book comes out where they preview all the Valley teams. I remember flipping through it a little bit, and I had a hard time feeling out St. Clairsville. They're one of those teams, they're always going to be feisty. They're always going to be making a run. And I think that kind of came through in that preview. Like, what was their identity going to be? Were they going to be a running team? Were they going to be a passing team? Were they going to be one of those teams that plays really tight defense? You're never quite sure where they fell.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of came up in this week's loss for them.
Yeah.
Anytime you get behind the sticks a little bit and you have to try to make a comeback big.
Yeah.
It's never easy to make that comeback. It's unfortunate that it fell short for them.
Yeah.
But you and I both know in football it's a game of inches, and if you fall behind a couple scores, you're taking those inches and you're making
especially
them
in the playoffs.
Oh, huge! Those inches become yards, and those yards become miles pretty quickly.
Yeah. But led by two seniors in the game, Jacob Walker, who we've talked about quite a few times during the season. He led the Red Devils, 126 yards rushing and a couple touchdowns. Andrew Vera, the Red Devils quarterback, led the passing attack. He had 216 yards and a touchdown passing. So they had some offensive numbers. That their defense played pretty well. Only giving up 24. But just when you get into the playoffs, little things matter.
It's like we just said. Inches become huge. And it's so hard to come back from that in a tight game against a good playoff team.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Before we move on, Zach, I'm going to take a nice drink out of my new Ohio Valley Athletics mug here of my favorite drink.
That's nice. Sounds like I bet somebody real nice got that for you.
Yes, some real nice people got
some
that
real
for
nice
me.
people, yeah.
Definitely. Moving on, the Shamrocks. How many times did Tom and I talk about the Shamrocks this year?
It seems about every week.
I wanted them to play not only through November, but December, January, February, March. I didn't care when they were playing. I wanted to go to Barnesville and watch football games.
Hey, you went to like 3 homecoming games. You wanted to be at a prom game.
I think, I don't know what kind of dance we're going to be at. Sadie Hawkins or Christmas Snowball or whatever they're going to have. But unfortunately, Barnesville fell to Wheelersburg. Wheelersburg's got a great team there. They've got a couple state titles under their belts. 55-31.
That's tough.
The Barnesville did lead 24-21 at the half.
No.
But depth played a huge part in this game. Wheelersburg has almost twice as many players on the roster as Barnesville does.
Man.
So that again,
that definitely plays in.
And Barnesville's trying, and they're built. This is a program building season. You're going to go from a roster of about 40 kids. Next year, you're going to have maybe 50, maybe 60 kids. As their enrollment grows.
You're going to have a couple of those kids, too, that were sitting in the stands, watching it, seeing their friends have fun, seeing that. And when you say program building season, this was still a remarkable season for Barnesville.
Yeah.
To make it this far and just throw the stats up that they did. You guys went and saw those games. How fun was that team to watch? They were just absolutely fun to watch. And so, that is one of those things. Those kids are going to hear their friends talk, and they're going to see the success that they had, and they're going to want to be a part of it.
Yeah. And if you look, they had some offensive numbers, too. C.J. Hanna's, the quarterback for Barnesville, 202 passing yards, 119 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, led the Shamrocks. So, you have a guy like that. This game changer of the week that we always want to see. We're going to do an All Valley team. How could you keep him off an All Valley team? That's a great performance for him.
And it seems like we were always saying that he was in the 200, 300 yards total offense category.
Yeah.
Just a great kid and a great athlete. It's great to see him continue that success.
Definitely. Tayson Starr, one of the stars of the Shamrocks, had a receiving touchdown. Now, this is on a Coach White special.
Oh, Coach White special.
On a double pass. They threw a little swing pass out to Casey Carpenter. Casey Carpenter hits Tayson Starr for the touchdown in the first half there.
And everybody who knows Coach White knows what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He loves himself some trick plays.
Yeah. The move up from Division 5 or Division 6 and then move up to Division 5 for Barnesville was a little bit of a jump. That's always a jump. You're playing some bigger schools. You're one of the smaller schools. Your numbers aren't quite there. But again, they had a great season. They finished 11-1.
I was gonna say
they had a milk jug.
Right.
Okay, so they got that milk jug there. Put that in the locker room. Get kids to come to the off-season stuff. Get the numbers to grow. Barnesville, I think they're building on something out there.
Oh, it's one of those things. You and I have seen it a lot of times where those programs start to grow a little bit. I bet that football coach is going to be going around to the basketball team and be like, hey, who's not playing football?
Yeah.
Hey, you should maybe check it
about
out.
A wrestling team out of
Go to the wrestling team. Go around.
Track team, get some speed.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Go anybody who's not there. We've seen it at the middle school level, high school level, anywhere in the valley. Go get those kids out that aren't coming out. And
Definitely.
That's one of those things when the coaches go to those games, those players are like, hey, the football coach is here. Why is the football coach here? And then if he comes to talk to you, hey, that's something that maybe you might be able to build upon and get a couple more of those kids out.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of a team that knows about playoffs, and is a program that's built.
Or a team that has depth even.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Steubenville Big Red moves on 31-0 over Bishop Hartley.
That's a statement win for Coach Reno.
Pitching a shutout in the second round of the playoffs. Not fancy numbers. 184 yards rushing and a couple touchdowns. Not a lot of passing yards. What do they do in Steubenville? They play defense. They hit you in the mouth.
And ball control. I mean, when you see that much rushing yards and that final score, you think ball control.
Yeah.
I mean, you play tough defense, control the ball. That wins you games in the playoffs.
Yeah. And that's what Steubenville does. They just know how to win, and they know how to win in the playoffs. They're going to move on to play Columbus East, and we'll talk about that game here in a little bit.
I'm excited for that.
Steubenville, I think anybody looks at them in the state of Ohio and say, that's a tough game for us.
Yep.
I don't know about any other school, but they look at Steubenville, that's a tough game for us.
I think probably the only teams that don't are probably those Columbus area schools, maybe a couple in Cleveland, maybe in the Cincinnati area. When you get to those larger metropolitan areas, I feel like those are the only ones that aren't. Not to say Columbus East can bother to look past Steubenville.
But I would say they still look at Steubenville and they know what they're going to get.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to get punched in the
And they're
mouth.
going to get a rabid fan base following with them,
definitely,
too. We'll talk more about that a little bit. Yeah,
definitely. Moving on to the West Virginia side, a game that Tom and I attended, Wheeling Park over John Marshall, 70-10. And as I mark on here,
when I first saw your guys' tweet, I thought it was or tweet or Facebook post, I thought it was a basketball score for a minute.
I put on here speed. And that's what it comes down to. Will James, 4 catches, 185 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Goodness.
Okay.
Gracious.
So, how about Michael Davis? Opening kickoff, 99 yards for a touchdown.
Michael's my boy.
And,
I love Michael Davis.
So
Shout out to Michael.
Not only did he have the 99-yard kick return, he had a receiving touchdown. Okay. Brett Phillips, 464 yards passing and 7 touchdowns.
Good God.
Okay.
Good God.
Jure.
Those are some fantasy points right there.
Oh, definitely. If you're playing a Ohio Valley fantasy and you had Brett Phillips, you won your game this week, Zach. I can guarantee that. Jure Hawkins did his thing. 4 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown. Sorry, I got one of his catches as a run. I think they ended up flipping it underhand or something to him. Okay. And so I thought they had him on a jet sweep, but it was actually a little shovel pass. Yeah, that he took around the end.
I mean, when we see that, Michael Davis, I love telling this story. When I broke my leg when I was coaching, Michael we were running an outside zone play, and he cut it back, bounced one for like 60 yards or something. He's got that little bit of shiftiness, that little bit of that side to sideline speed. And I love seeing Michael get on the score sheet there. Softens my heart, even if he is the reason I broke my leg.
Yeah. We'll talk about Park a little later in our playoff segment, but they're a 9 seed, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that for sure.
On the John Marshall side, Connor Fitzpatrick kicked a 42-yard field goal. A penalty gave John Marshall an automatic first down. He ended up kicking a 34-yarder on the drive.
Was that 52?
That's what I thought it was. I saw Connor this weekend, and I said, was that not a 52-yarder? And he said, I think it was a 42-yarder. And I said, they had the ball spotted at the 35, so maybe the scoreboard was wrong, or I was looking at the field maybe wrong. But either way, both of those field goals are good for 50. Good luck to Connor. He's going to a kicking camp here the weekend of December 2nd or 3rd.
That's awesome.
And then he does well there. There's an invite coming to a camp, and then they rank you.
He's got a heck of a leg, too. I mean, he's one of those kids that, I'm sure he can do something with that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I just, a little shout out, John Marshall's touchdown came on a Jacob Caulfield to Ashton Collette touchdown pass. I got to coach both of those guys, both great kids. Glad to see, they got to play. It's unfortunately Jacob's last game, in high school. But to get that touchdown pass and, play a little defense that game. John Marshall was down a couple players. Clipson Wallace was out. They're running back.
I knew they were missing a few.
And a couple guys on defense. So just down that game, but they, finished the season
does Jacob have any other sports coming up?
Yeah, he plays baseball. He plays baseball.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a pretty good baseball player. So, yeah, and Ashton's he runs track. So,
I was gonna say,
but Ashton's only a junior. So
it always seems like John Marshall's got a quarterback that's usually a heck of a baseball player, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Moving on, let's go on to your cadets. Here they go. Lindsley over Morgantown, 31-20. We talked about this last week. Lindsley wins. They win the AAA OVAC championship. So now Lindsley can say we have a championship, and we've played the toughest schedule that I think any team in West Virginia played this year.
Easily. Now, let me ask you this, Jeff.
Go ahead.
What do you hang your hat on more if you're Coach Depew? The 3A crown or the win against Steubenville?
I got to go the win over Steubenville because you've never beat Steubenville before and you've won OVAC championships
That's true.
before.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
I got to go with that one. You know,
I mean, it's one of those things. It's always great to have another championship, but I mean, how many teams in the Valley can say that they have a reliable or decent win over Steubenville?
Yeah, a good win over Steubenville.
Yeah.
Luca Di Lorenzo, we talk about him weekly.
Luca's fantastic.
He took a lot of reps at quarterback this week.
Interesting.
Yeah, he took a lot of reps at quarterback this week. He ended up with 3 rushing touchdowns on 46 yards. Caught 3 passes for 28 yards, and he even punted and dropped it down inside like the 2 or 3 yard line. So he was all over the place.
I mean, he's a great athlete. He's a great athlete.
Yeah.
He's one of those kids. I think you can line him up anywhere and he'd do well. I mean, I'm sure he could even long snap it to himself and then punt it too. I mean, he's just that great of an athlete.
Definitely. Alex Taylor led Lindsley with 140 yards on the ground. Broderick Washington from Morgantown had a great game himself. 101 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. He also returned a fumble for a 3rd touchdown of the game. So he ended the game with 3 touchdowns, 2 on offense, 1 on defense. So good job, Broderick Washington. Great game there for you. Yeah. On the offensive and defensive end.
I mean, just congratulations to Lindsley on a great season. I mean, anytime to get an OVAC crown, I mean, that's fantastic. As we know, Lindsley doesn't compete in the playoffs.
Yes.
So that is the wrap on their season. So congratulations on a great season, Coach Depew, all the other players and coaches on that team as well.
Yeah, definitely. Wrapped their season up with a nice win over Morgantown. Going back across the river, Zach.
Ooh.
How about
Are you
we
sure
talk
that joke's
about
not too corning?
How about we talk about Hannibal River? Okay. How about they ate up Corning Miller a little bit?
Oh, they ate him up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
fine with
a little
that.
cannibalism
I
there.
like that. Oh,
with
Hannibalism.
Cannibalism.
Yeah.
49-6 over Corning Miller. River had 521 yards of total offense, 338 on the ground. Now, if you remember last week, I think I talked about Cable Isley.
Yep.
He had 4 touchdown passes, I think, in the first quarter.
Yeah, he had a ton.
So you go from 4 touchdown passes in the first quarter to 338 yards on the ground. So now you're a playoff team who's beaten your second round opponent 49-6. You won 51-12 or whatever in the first round. And now you're not just throwing the ball. I mean, he finished this game 183 yards passing, and he added 32 on the ground. But you're showing we can pass it, we can run it, we can play good defense. We only give up a touchdown.
I mean, that's a complete team is what that shows to me.
Yeah.
They can do it with whatever they're going to see. They're going to look at the tape. They're going to see what they've got coming up this week, and they'll see, hey, this is a weakness we can exploit. We can do it on the air. We can do it on the ground.
Yeah.
And we can do it defensively. I mean, whatever game River needs to play this week, I got a feeling that I think they're going to be able to do it, which, I mean, we'll talk about them a little bit more later. But, I mean, it's just when you see those sort of stats and how versatile they can be.
Definitely. And listen to this. Brody, and sorry if I get you, Lolithan led the Pilot rushing attack. He had 89 yards on 10 carries. Okay. Cable Isley had 32 yards on the ground. They had 338 total. So if your leading rusher has 89 and you have 338 total, you've got a lot of guys running for some yards.
And here's the thing. 89 yards on 10 carries. I mean, that's it's almost 9 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Which is impressive.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we always say if you can win a game where you're getting 4 yards every rush, I mean, that's a huge win. I mean, that's more than twice that.
Yeah, River's going to move on to play Caldwell. They're playing at St. Clairsville. We'll cover this game a little bit later on in the show, but I think it's going to be a great game. River, Caldwell at St. Clairsville. I enjoyed watching River. I ran into somebody this weekend, and a friend of mine, Greg Harris, I worked with him at Greco's, and he was asking me about the website and the podcast. He watches and listens, Zach.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
I said, thanks a lot. A friend he was with said, you ever been to a game at River? I said, it's the first game we covered, River and Barnesville. I said, how about that for you?
Yep.
So, it was a great seeing a couple fans out in the public and getting noticed. Tom knows
Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely. And as we get ready to move on to our next segment, one thing that we always have to value is having enough energy when we come in here and we go into our podcast, go into our STREAMcast.
Yeah.
Our friends at OV Nutrition always give us great products, and we'll give you guys what you need to update your nutrition, get your multivitamins right, get your nutrition right, and if you want to get some gains, get your lift on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thanks again to High Valley Nutrition, and everything they supply us, and for partnering with us on the STREAMcast and our website, and just everything they do for us. If you notice, Zach, it's Ohio Valley Nutrition, it's Ohio Valley Athletics. It's about people of the Ohio Valley, helping people of the Ohio Valley.
Absolutely.
That's just how it works.
And we would love to have some products here to show you, but someone who is off screen, who shall remain nameless, really screwed the pooch on that one this
Well,
week. But we're not gonna name any names or anything.
He has those nutrition products everywhere he goes. He just leaves them so he can use them at those different locations.
Oh yeah, so he's like a squirrel. He's hiding acorns for the next sprint.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
He has nutrition products everywhere.
Because
Thanks again, Ohio Valley Nutrition. Go visit them at St. Clairsville and Steubenville. They'll set you up with some great nutrition products. OhioValleyAthletics.com Streamcast. We're bringing you our Playoff Palooza. Zach named this the Palooza.
The Palooza.
Here we go.
It's the best time in the Valley.
Yes.
Tons of high school football playoffs.
Definitely.
Fantastic.
Starting off in Ohio, the playoff matchups. Okay, who are you going to start with in Ohio?
I mean, there's only one choice.
I think so.
And they're big, and they're red.
Yes. Let's start with Steubenville. They come in the number 2 seed in the region. They're 10-2. They're going to play Columbus East, the 3 seed. They come in at 10-1. They'll be playing at Quaker Stadium in New Philly on a rainy Friday night.
I kind of want to say that this is the game of the ones that we're going to talk about, at least in the Ohio side.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to say because we've got a couple more that we're going to talk about later that are also that sort of game. But this Columbus East team, we looked at them last week. They can score with anybody. And we talked about in our game recaps. Steubenville does what really well, Jeff?
They play defense. So
you've got an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, I think is what you're going to see in this game.
I tell you what, Zach. You see these teams, they score, they spread it out or they run it. But Steubenville just wants to hit you in the mouth every single play. All 11 guys are going to hit somebody on every single play. Every play.
Those are my kind of teams.
And, I know the game of football is all about offense now. It's all about offense.
Yep.
Not in Steubenville. It's not. I can tell you that right now.
No.
In Steubenville, this week at practice, they're going to be hitting people hard in practice, and they're going to take that into the game.
They're probably going to be hitting them till the moment they get on the bus to go to their neutral site.
And they might hit each other on the bus.
They might hit on the bus. Who knows? They could be like Russell Wilson running up and down the aisles.
Zach, you love it when I tell you, Steubenville, those kids, tougher than $2 steaks. I'm going to tell you that right now.
That is a fantastic phrase, and I do love when you fire that one out there.
All right, so good luck to Steubenville. We'll move on with our matchups.
I mean, so do we say where that matchup's going to be?
Yeah, I think I told everybody it's in New Philadelphia.
New Philadelphia, okay.
It's at Quaker Stadium. Great host place for high school football. Now you get into the Ohio playoffs. No more hosting at your home stadium. So you get first round, second round, and then you're on the road.
And I would say about the distance from Columbus and Steubenville to New Philly is probably about equal.
I think they try. They try to get it as equal as possible. Some teams complain, hey, they're a mile closer than we are, but hey, what's a mile? Hey, if you're going to win football, you're going to win football.
And we all know how it is when you start going to certain schools in Ohio. That mile can be where you have to go through like a 12-mile loop, or you got to go somewhere on the interstate going north or south for about a half hour if you miss an exit. But
yes.
That is what it is.
How about next? A team that I got to see play that every week I tell you how impressed I was. This Fort Fry team and that triple option. They're 11-1. The loss comes to Lindsley, who we talked about before, one of the best teams in the Valley.
Yeah.
Maybe the best team in the Valley.
I think an argument could be made that they're probably one of the most complete teams.
Yeah, definitely. They're ranked number 1. They play Cole Grove, Dawson, Bryant. That's a lot of names.
It's a lot of names.
But it's going to be a lot of loss too, because that triple option. You're this far in the playoffs. You're going to try to get your scout team ready. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you teach those kids a triple option in a week.
You just can't. That's the thing. Unless you have played a team that runs it. I mean, it's like how a bunch of teams always have trouble picking up on the spin that Wheeling Central and some of those other Valley teams run.
Yeah.
It's because unless you play it during your season, it's darn near impossible to prepare for that short of a notice.
Definitely. They're playing at Fulton Field, LHS Stadium in Lancaster, Ohio. You might check this one out, Zach, and wonder why.
I might be interested, because if I'm correct, I believe Lancaster, Ohio has one of the few remaining racks in the country left.
And if anody knows where there's a Rack's roast beef, I know it's Zach.
Oh, yeah.
He can smell it out from 100 miles away.
I drive by Lancaster, and I just smell that roast beef.
Rack's.
Rack's is the best.
You might be attending that one just to go to Rack's.
I might.
Yeah.
I love me some Rack's.
Hey, next, another team. Now, not recently, but they're getting back. The Belair Big Reds. Playoffs, third week. they're just meant to be there. Belair Big Reds are meant to be there in the
yeah.
playoffs. In the third week, they got a tough draw. They have Nelsonville York. You know, they got the 2 seed. Belair's the 3rd seed. You know, as I look at it, Zach, you know, you might think, you know, like I thought last week. I thought Blair had a tough matchup. I didn't think they'd win that game, but boy, they just blew the doors off.
Blair seems to me to be that team that one week we were talking about their shutdown defense, and the next week we were talking about their offense. Are they that team that can put it all together? Because we see the disparity between the 2 records there. I mean, the difference between a 3 seed and a 2 seed is 3 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, so can Belair manage to put it all together against a tough Nelsonville York team? Because, I mean, when you see 11-1 on the other record, you know that means they've done a lot of things right for most of the season. So can Belair tie it all together? Can they play exceptionally well defensively and offensively?
Coach Boner looks at that 11-1 record, and he's only thinking about one thing.
11-2 record?
Making that 11-2 record. He's going to have that Blair team ready. You know, the coaching experience that he has and the teams that he's had in the past, they're not worried about 11-1, 12-0. They're not worried about that.
Oh, they're not getting caught up.
They're worried about what they're going to do and how they're going to win the game.
Right. And I think that's the question is, I mean, like I said, we've talked about their offense. We've talked about their defense. Can they tie it all together and win in all 3 phases?
Yeah.
Because we've seen them score a bunch of points. We've seen them shut out a team. Do it together, and you can move on, and then you can be maybe getting to even a better neutral site.
Definitely. They're moving on. They're going to play at Sam Hatfield Stadium. That's in Duncan Falls. We had to look this one up, Zach.
We had to look it up. Yeah,
I think you called upon Anna to look this one up.
Yeah, we were sitting here before we started recording, and I go, "Hey, Anna, can you look up where this place is? Because I have no idea where it's at." And so
it's close to Zanesville.
Near
so
Zanesville,
I must have been out there somewhere before.
Yeah, I had never heard of it. And when there's a place that you myself haven't heard of, I mean, it's definitely worth a Google.
Yeah.
But good luck to Belair.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love to see them keep going on a run.
How about this one, Zach? Maybe we save this one for last. We're going to eat this one up.
This is a good one.
Hannibal
this is a good one.
River at 11-1 versus Caldwell the Redskins at 11-1. How about a location, Zach? Red Devil Stadium in St. Clairsville.
Red Devil Stadium. Fantastic.
So 2 great teams at a great location. You can't ask for a better matchup.
I mean, how far a drive do you think that is for both of those schools? Is it
I've got to say it's probably 45 minutes or so.
45 minutes for both.
I mean, I would say that's very close.
that's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good for once we get to the neutral sites. I know sometimes, like, Steubenville's probably going to be traveling an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe hour and 20. And, I mean, when you can get under that hour range, I mean, that's one of those things that you don't have to sit on the bus. You don't have to sit on the bus as long. You don't have to think about it as long.
Yeah.
You can get there, get into your routine, and get to that normalcy a little bit.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what a great venue for this site to happen, too. I know Coach James was posting on there, "Hey, we got to pack St. Clairsville. Let's go, River Faithful." So that was awesome to see. It'll be a great venue for that. I think that might be one of those that I feel like Tom and you might be sniffing around that one.
I'll be making some contact with Coach Clifford to see if we can't get some access over there. I think maybe OhioValleyAthletics.com has picked their game of the week this week. I mean, we have a lot of great games to choose from, but you're getting 2 local teams to play each other.
There's a smorgasbord this
at St. Clairsville. I don't think we can go wrong with this one.
No, I don't think you can. I think there's some West Virginia matchups that are enticing, but I think it's going to be hard to out entice that one. I mean,
definitely, especially because it's third round. You know, West Virginia's in the first round. This is the third round. Ohio. You're going to the regional final if you win this one.
Well,
so either we're going to have a local team in the regional final.
Well, and especially because you guys have such a soft spot for River. I mean, I know you guys went there early in the season.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those places that you guys sort of cut your teeth on this season.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that would be a great story to continue to see them roll, especially after all the great hospitality you guys were shown out there. And
not only River, we also were at Red Devil Stadium.
Red Devil
Stadium. We're bringing them together.
Yeah, bring it all together. I mean, that would just be great to see. For River, I think River pulls this one out, but I think it's going to be a heck of a game.
Caldwell's really good.
They're really good. It's going to be a heck of a game.
I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to pick this one, or maybe I do later in the pick'ems.
We might have to. It may, in fact, be the first one we pick.
I might have to flip a coin, but I don't have any coins in my pocket, so
I've got a couple coins laying over there. I can go grab one for you.
All right, I hope it doesn't land on its side. Maybe I do. How about we move on to West Virginia, Zach? We're starting the playoffs in West Virginia. You know, Ohio started a couple weeks ago. West Virginia's starting this week. You know, let's look at some of our single A matchups. Now, you know, what I noticed in our single A is, you know, James Monroe's that 1 seed, so Williamstown stayed out of that 1. Williamstown's a really good team. Wheeling Central, they're a game down, you know, so they didn't play that 10th game. I think that hurt them a little bit. They're coming to a 4 seed. They're playing Man this week. So Wheeling Central.
I've traveled to Man.
Yeah,
I've traveled to Man for that game.
Yeah.
And they're coming to Wheeling.
They're coming to Wheeling. They're playing at Jesuit Friday night.
I believe Wheeling University now, Jeff.
What would I say? Wheeling.
You went Jesuit.
Wheeling Jesuit. They dropped the Jesuit.
They're no longer Jesuit.
Sorry to all the Jesuits out there.
I don't know if there's any more Jesuit left in Wheeling.
Yeah, so sorry to the Jesuits out there. Wheeling University. So Wheeling Central Catholic welcoming Man. I don't see this being really much of a game. Wheeling Central rolls.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough sled for Man.
Yeah, definitely. Good part of the bracket too. Wheeling Central, they get to stay away from Williamstown. Before the finals.
I think it's inevitable that those two end up in a clash.
I think so.
I think it's inevitable. I think it's almost writing on the wall at some point or another.
But hey, we got another team that I mentioned as a local team. Because they're near and dear to my heart for some reason. Maybe it's just because I drive through there a good bit going to Charleston. I like going Route 2 sometimes.
Right.
St. Mary's. They play Wahama. St. Mary's comes in at a 12 seed. They're playing at Point Pleasant Stadium. The Mothman's going to be there. The fans are going to be there. Hey,
Wahama needs to rebrand.
Yeah,
they need to get the Mothman thing going. That would be awesome. Could you imagine a football helmet with a Mothman on the side of it?
Yeah, definitely.
God,
how about the mascot?
That would be sweet.
Yeah.
It would be awesome.
But hey, good luck to St. Mary's. You got to travel down to Point Pleasant, playing down the southern part of the state. But St. Mary's seems like I don't care what seed they are, they always know how to play in the playoffs.
Always. I mean, St. Mary's is one of those teams that we always see in the single A playoff. Like always. Yeah. I mean, I can't remember a time I didn't see them in there. And they're always one of those teams that regardless of what their seed is, they're going to be competitive.
Yeah, they're going to make a run. Yeah. How about the next matchup? Cameron and Tyler. So you get a local matchup. You get Tyler Consolidated traveling to Cameron. Cameron, the great facilities,
is this the
great
second
people.
week in a row?
For Tyler and Cameron.
Did they play?
Cameron did not play Tyler last week. They played Pendleton.
They played Pendleton.
They
have played recently, though.
They've played recently, yes.
Okay.
Cameron coming out on top in that one, yeah. So, Cameron gets a home playoff game, looking to get another home playoff game with a victory.
Right.
They'll be rolling. They'll have the kids ready.
I was talking to Coach Myers. He said that they've got some problem or some injuries that they're working their way through out in Cameron. And he said they just heard that Tyler got their great running back. So I think it might be a little bit of a tighter matchup than it was the last time. But I think Cameron, as long as they continue to do what they've done all season, I think Cameron will handle them. But I think Tyler's probably going to give them a little bit tougher game than maybe that 15 seed might indicate.
Yeah, I think Gibbs will have those kids taped up and ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely, yeah. We look next. We go a little bit outside of the valley. You got Tyler and Cameron. Look at Doddridge. They're sitting there at the 10 seed. Hey, Doddridge County sits close to us. The Bulldogs, I like talking about them. They have nice new facilities down there.
Well, I mean, it's one of those, you don't want to get caught looking ahead.
Yeah,
if
definitely.
Cameron, but you're going to have to play the winner of that game regardless. And I mean, Van's a tough team. Doddridge County's a tough team. Either one of those coming through, I mean, you're going to play one of them if you move on.
Yeah.
But you don't want to get caught sort of looking ahead a little bit there. But
yeah.
I think Van would be a tough matchup for Cameron if they do manage to
definitely
win in advance this
definitely.
week.
And again, if you look, at the bottom of our bracket, you have Williamstown as a 6 seed. Now I'm going to tell you this, Zach, somebody that you may not know it by my record in the pick'ems, but I like to pride myself on knowing a little bit about football. Williamstown is either the best or the second best team in single A. I can tell you that.
I think Williamstown, coach, would go on a run if they were in double A.
They could. I mean,
I honestly think they would go on a run if they were in Double A.
6 seed. So now we got Clay Battelle, who we talk about, the Seabees. They got a tough matchup. The CBs are going to travel to Williamstown. I think that's a tough matchup for them.
I think Williamstown's going to be saying "see you later" to the CBs. I think the CBs don't.
Maybe the best 6 seed ever in the West Virginia State playoffs.
I think they might be. I mean, that's a tough 6 seed. I mean, Williamstown is the class of single A. Especially on that side of the bracket.
We'll never beat Fairmont Senior's record of last year, being the 16th seed and winning the Double A last year.
We
can talk about that at another time. But how about we move on to Double A? Do we have a representative in Double A, Zach?
We have one single lonely representative in Double A.
Okay, and we have the We're Red Riders.
We're Red Riders. I don't know a whole lot about Roane County.
Well, I know where it's at, Zach. I teach it, so I know where Roane County's at.
But when I see a 2 seed, I mean, Weir was one of those that we weren't sure. We weren't sure. I was trying to make a pun
We
there.
weren't sure.
I was trying to make a pun there with we weren't sure, but it didn't quite land.
Yeah,
just like I don't think
better than you.
Just like I don't think Weir's going to land in this playoff game much. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for Weir.
Yeah.
Just because they've sort of struggled a little bit all season. We weren't sure if they were
up
going
and
to be
down.
Up and down. We weren't sure if they were going to be find their way in. I feel like sometimes they were up in the standings, sometimes they slid down in the standings. I feel like anytime we looked at them, we weren't sure where they were going to fall or what they were going to do this season.
But remember what I told you just about a minute and a half ago. The 16 seed won the title last year.
Yep.
So
it's possible.
A chip in a chair, right, Zach?
It's possible. Hey, I mean, and you see it all the time in the playoffs. Some team gets hot and they go on a run.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best part about the playoffs is anything's possible. I mean, you can throw those records and those seeds out a little bit and just play your game. It would be great for Weir to see them going on.
Like I tell our kids,
they've struggled a little bit all year.
Once you're in the playoffs, guess what your record is now?
You're 0-0.
You're 0.
You've got to go 1-0 every week.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. Win it, survive and advance.
Yep,
definitely. How about we'll move on to AAA? We have some teams in AAA. Let's talk about Parkersburg South. Hedgesville comes to town. Saturday at 1:30. The road team gets to pick.
I'm going to be in Parkersburg on Saturday.
Are you going to be in Parkersburg?
I'll be down there for a robotics tournament.
So robotics tournament. I don't know if there's going to be more people at the robotics tournament or the South Hedgesville game. Both of them are going to sell out.
I knew Tom would like that one. I knew he'd like that one. Yeah.
Both are going to sell out, I believe. Zach, standing room only at both.
Absolutely.
Hey.
I knew that would get a laugh from the peanut gallery.
Now, Tom and I got to go to Parkersburg South. We got to stop at Wings, etc. We got to go to. We got to hear the musket go off. We got to talk to great administration at Parkersburg South. I think I may get on them starting this week in anticipation of next week, Zach, because I see South moving on. Beating Hedgesville.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at the 8-9 matchup.
The 8-9 matchup. Is that another rematch we see, Jeff?
It's another rematch.
It's another rematch.
Wheeling Park and Musselman. Now, we're looking for some help out there. This game got moved because of inclement weather from Friday to Thursday. And we're trying to figure out, no other game's been moved. This game's been moved from Friday to Thursday.
That's interesting. Okay?
Park comes in at a 9 seed. Again, I don't know how many times I can say this. The best 9 seed that AAA's ever seen. I can tell you that.
It's got to be. It's got to be.
They're going to travel out to Musselman. It's a rematch. Park won 34-7 earlier in the season.
Yep.
Okay, but I think you can throw that out. I think as coaches, Zach, we know usually you learn more from a loss than you do a win. I mean, like a win, you want to stay status quo because that's what you did to win. And as a loss, you got to change a couple things, and that team doesn't know what you're going to change.
And here's the thing too. I mean, Musselman's played them already.
Yeah.
They were the one seed in the state, and then Park knocked them off, and they slid.
Yeah.
If you're Musselman, you're fired up that you get to get Wheeling Park again. Not only are you the higher seed right now, but you're like, I want a piece of Wheeling Park High School.
They're going to be loaded up with applesauce and ready to go.
Oh yeah, they're Musselman's going to be ready to go. But here's the thing: Wheeling Park is going to do what Wheeling Park's going to do. They're going to spread it out. They're going to speed you out. Musselman struggled with it the last time. What's going to happen in the playoffs?
I think they'll struggle again, and that's why I'm going to reach out down to Parkersburg South because in the next round, it's Parkersburg South and Wheeling Park.
Is that another matchup?
Another rematch of a great game.
Another rematch.
32-27. Another rematch. I don't know if I tell you what.
I want a blooming onion in the stands. That's what I want.
Tom's better get his appetite ready because I know we're stopping at Wings, etc. I know we're stopping there. Make our reservation. Hey, if anybody's watching that knows anybody at Wings, etc. in Marietta, tell them we want a reservation right now. If
that happens, I might have to road trip with you guys.
Hey. A 3-way. Zach. Okay, you're going on a road trip with us.
It was only a matter of time until it's degraded at some point.
All right, Zach. South Park in the second round. Parkersburg South.
I would love to see it.
Let's move on. University traveling to Hurricane. Now, no, Zach.
Oh,
not Hurricane.
Oh, not the thing that cocked up Tom's beach trip?
No, not the thing that cocked Tom's beach trip up. This is Hurricane.
Oh,
and don't mispronounce it.
No, I had a friend in high school that was from Hurricane, and we'd always go, "Ooh, Hurricane wind's coming," and he's like, "It's Hurricane."
It's Hurricane. University travels to Hurricane.
Happy.
Tough matchup for him. Hurricane, is a 5 seed, but I think they may be one of the top 4 teams in the state.
I
Just
think
one,
so,
you know,
too.
I'm bumping them up just a little bit, not
think so,
much,
too.
but one of the top teams in the
I
state.
think they played a
definitely.
pretty tough schedule, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
I think they
definitely.
played a little rough go
Hurricane
there.
plays a tough schedule. University has a tough road.
I don't want to say, as we look at our next matchup here, that Morgantown drew the short straw. But on their side of the bracket,
Zach,
I think they drew the short straw.
they didn't get a straw.
They didn't even get a straw.
They drew Martinsburg. And, now, Coach Bies was going to have Morgantown ready. I know that. But
Here's the thing.
how ready can you be when you play Martinsburg?
The team that Morgantown lost to last week, that we said might play the toughest schedule in the Valley,
Yeah.
Lindsley. I think Lindsley would struggle against Martinsburg. I think that's the kind of football team that Martinsburg is.
Every year, Zach. I mean, I watch them on the
They're
island
relentless.
every year.
They're relentless.
Size, speed.
I mean, they're like junkyard dogs on raw meat.
just...
I mean, it's a tough matchup for Morgantown. It really is.
It is.
Really is.
All you can do is prepare your kids for that game if you're Morgantown.
It's one of those-
And you go in there and you tell them, hey, we've got nothing to lose in this one. Play your hearts out and just see what happens at the end. It's the playoffs.
It's playoffs. It's like March Madness. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Loyola upsets people every once in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe Morgantown can upset somebody. I mean, if that happened, that would maybe be the upset
Yeah.
of the entire playoffs.
Millennium.
Maybe Millennium. Yeah, Millennium's high, but
Okay.
I think it would be up there in WVSSAC playoff history
Yes.
for sure.
Definitely. We as we look through the brackets, no real local teams left, but always excited to see some teams. You see Spring Valley there at the 3 seed. Huntington is a 6 seed. As we talk, why is it these 6 seeds?
There's some
We have
good 6 seeds
Williamstown's
right now.
a 6 seed.
Yep.
Huntington is a 6 seed. Holy moly!
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think for the Valley, I think it's going to be a little bit tough sledding for us to have some representatives in AAA moving on to the second round. But I'm excited to see what the playoffs have in store for all these teams and see what the other side of the bracket shakes out to be.
Definitely.
Keeping track of Bridgeport. It's one of those teams kind of outside our area a little bit that I just love to follow. With Cabell Midland, good game.
I mean,
definitely.
I mean, we talked about Steubenville and them being the blue blood program. They're the ones that always do what they're going to do. And I always joke that, you get born in the city of Steubenville, you get a playbook for Steubenville Big Red.
Yeah.
Bridgeport, West Virginia is the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, they run the same stuff from Pee Wee all the way through high school. And they're running the same offense, they're running the same defense, they're on the same special teams, they're using the same terminology. When it comes from a program building perspective, they're one of those teams that I've always had the utmost respect for, and I always sort of watch out as Tom brought them up there. But just they always do what they're going to do, and they're going to do it well.
Great community.
Oh yeah,
Phenomenal
Definitely.
community down there. It's just outside our little area.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just
a little bit
a little
outside.
shout out to Cabell Midland too. If you guys aren't aware, they lost one of their players this past week in a tragic accident. So hearts go out to them.
Absolutely.
And their staff, the students there, the players there. That's got to be tough. You have a 17-year-old that loses their life in an accident. Hearts go out to them.
Horrible.
They played that, I believe, that very next day.
Right.
They played on a Friday night to end their season. But hearts go out to them. Thoughts, prayers, everything out to the family of the young man.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Those are some. We have some great playoff matchups here. I'm very excited to see how the top end of this bracket shakes out. Parkersburg South in a potential rematch would be great to go see.
Yes.
It would be really great to go see. So that's our sort of look at the Ohio State or the Ohio playoffs and the West Virginia State playoffs. So we've given you guys a look at the playoffs. Let's try
another good place to go see.
Oh,
what's this, Tom?
Ohio Valley Nutrition over in St. Clairsville, where students.
I was just going to say, we looked through the playoffs. Let's try not to overlook our nutrition there.
yes.
Yeah, let's try not to overlook our nutrition.
Hey.
I'm trying to keep up with the dad jokes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Dad jokes and just some nice little ad throwouts there.
Yeah.
We'll throw out some terms there for you, but Ohio Valley Nutrition is going to make sure you're not throwing out the
Nutritional
I
needs of your
missed
body.
it. I missed that.
I tried to catch that when Zach was falling. I tried to catch it.
Hey,
How
I
about
fumbled that one a little bit there.
how about multivitamins? How about
see
protein
them,
shakes?
Buy something.
Yeah.
Support
Seriously.
them. They support us. They support the community.
Tell them you
Go
saw us
support
here.
them.
Tell them you heard it on here.
Yeah.
Tell them you heard it on
Tell
here.
him
Yeah.
we sent you.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell him Jeff said he wanted some of that General Mills protein powder. That you can't say
Cinnamon
that.
Cereal Crunch protein shake. I'm
Yep.
telling you, I've drank protein shakes for years and years and years. One of the best ones ever.
I need to. I told Tom I need some chocolate, so I got to go over there this weekend. They're going to hook me up with some chocolate, something protein, something good.
You're gonna need
I
to
know
make sure
they'll
you
take care of
have.
me.
You're gonna need to make sure you have your energy and your nutrition up for all these awesome playoff matchups.
Definitely,
this weekend.
definitely,
You might have to get out there on Friday when we don't have school before you head out for some playoff
that'd be a
matchups.
good idea.
Oh, it's possibility.
Yeah, that's a
That's a
possibility.
good idea. Yeah.
Work out with me, and then we'll stop out.
Oh, there you go.
We'll talk about working out later because Tom gave me a new one. I wasn't too happy with him last night as I was doing my workout.
All right, guys, we'll see you here in a little bit.
Yes. OVAthletics.com STREAMcast coming back to you with, I don't know if it's our favorite segment, but I don't think I could pick a favorite segment, but it's
I
a
enjoy it.
pick'em.
It's the only segment I'm on the air for, so yeah. As of now.
It's a pick'em segment. A couple of you are already a couple deep by this time, and so
Couple's generous.
So as we talk about the pick'ems, we had first. How about let's thank John Marshall. I don't think we can thank John Marshall enough.
John Marshall
for the work that he puts in for the pick'ems. We really appreciate it, and just everything that he does for the website and for our pick'ems. We just really appreciate what he does.
And he's super active on the forums too. I mean, I think I feel like they're commenting on almost everything.
Yeah.
I mean, so awesome user.
He's almost up there with Shady Side Sue.
Yeah, just about.
Shout out to you, Shady Side Sue.
Definitely.
For
Hopefully
everything.
she watches.
I hope she watches too. Thank you.
I would like to meet. I'd like to meet her
guarantee
sometime.
Shady Side Sue and I had that Shady Side pick right from the pick.
I guarantee it. I guarantee
probably
it.
so.
You and everybody at the Tiger Pub and Shady Side Sue are the people that picked that one.
And Center Grill over in Shady Side. Little shout out to the wings over there on Thursday nights.
I heard they're good. Are they good as I hear?
They're good.
You know
we
a good
like
wing.
wings, etc. in Marietta.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, if you're looking for local wings, Shady Side Grill over in Shady Side, or Central Grill and Shady Side,
Central Grill and
Ohio.
Shady Side.
Under the radar a little bit there.
They're under the radar a little bit, and they're going to have a couple different flavors that you're not getting anywhere else around here. That makes them very unique, and they do other things too.
Okay.
Little shout out to them. I've been over there a few times recently.
Right. I like to hear of a new good wing place.
Yeah.
Nice place. They have other stuff, but I'm telling you.
Zach, have you ever had a chicken wing before?
Oh, you know what? I may have dabbled in the art of the chicken wing.
All right. How about
You'll have to the turkey leg.
I love the turkey leg too.
Oh yeah.
how about last week, Zach? We had 2 perfect scores.
Oh wow.
Huddle 19
On our show?
No.
Oh.
Well, Zach was perfect.
Hey,
0 and 10.
I had perfect.
He was perfect. 0 and 10.
Listen, we just shouted out John Marshall. I think he must have tabulated something wrong because there's no way I could have had 0 last week. Or could I?
Let's see. It was Huddle 19 and 88 Bulldog. Both perfect. 88 Bulldog won the tiebreaker by 5 points.
Great job.
Huddle 19 has a 4-point lead overall now on Big Red's Pride. So it's coming down to the wire here for the Pick'ems.
Yeah. It's ending soon too.
Yeah, it's ending soon.
Yep.
But we got some great stuff for them and some great ideas coming for the winners of the Pick'ems.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Stay tuned.
All right, guys. So our Week 13 games. First one, we're starting out the gates here. John Marshall does no favors in ordering these. The first one
he does not.
is Caldwell and River at Red Devils Stadium.
I mean, as the host, I like to go first and kind of throw it to you guys. And so when I pick, then you pick opposite of me just so you can win. So we have the Caldwell Redskins, the River Pilots. I got to see River play. I haven't seen Caldwell play this year. They're a good football team, though.
Yeah,
I do know that.
No.
This is tough. I'm going to go with Caldwell this week, the Redskins. Sorry, Coach James. Sorry, River. Great stadium, great atmosphere, great community, great everything. But I'm going Caldwell.
I disagree. I'm gonna go with River on this. God bless you, Coach James. River, I love you. I want to see you advance. Maybe it might be with the heart over the head a little bit on this pick. We'll see. But they've been getting it done. I think River's going to get it done.
I think it's going to be a close one.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be a tight one. This is going to be tighter when I put on my formal pants for Thanksgiving. It's going to be a tight game.
You don't have stretchy pants for Thanksgiving?
Okay, so that's true. I do have stretchy pants.
We used to have that conversation years ago before keto.
I have my Thanksgiving. I still have my Thanksgiving pants.
But just like those Thanksgiving pants are comfortable, I'm comfortable with the River pick. I got River winning here.
And hopefully that's the game we're at this week. I think we're going to reach out to some people, make sure we have access, because being new to this, we have to make sure we get permission to be wherever we're at.
Sure.
Definitely.
And we respect everybody for
it's gonna be great.
Whatever it is.
It's gonna be a great game.
Even if they don't let us in, we'll be in the stands or
Yeah.
something. We'll do something. But
In the rain.
Yeah. I love rain. Except
you don't have to worry about your hair getting wet.
Man.
rough crowd. Except
you're the one that says, "Hey, let's drink on the show." All right.
And wonder why we're blocked on YouTube.
Our next pick, we have Bel Air versus Nelsonville York.
I love the Big Reds. Love the town of Bel Air. I picked against them last week. I'd hate to pick against them this week, but Nelsonville York comes in and they're a good football team. I'm going Nelsonville York. Love you, Roosevelt. Love you, Gula's. Just shout out to a couple great places there. But I got to go with Nelsonville York.
There's so much good things about Bel Air that I love. And the human story that's going on with Bel Air this year. And I know the teammates are there for their fellow teammates and everything else that has had to deal with some things this year. But unfortunately, I think their season's coming to an end this weekend.
I think this game is just like a night game in Bel Air. It's not going to happen for the Big Reds. Yeah. I think Bel Air's season ends this week with Nelsonville York. We'd love to be wrong.
Hey,
we'd love to be wrong.
Bel Air, we love you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Appreciate everything you've done for us this year.
Yeah.
We've went over and watched some games.
And as you said, there are so many great stories following that team this year. So I'd love to be wrong. Yeah. I'd love to be wrong. Let those stories continue for another week. But I think it's just a tough sled for Bel Air.
Hey, you have to play the game. Bel Air, we're pulling for you. Get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Our pick'ems are by no means.
No.
What we would like to see happen.
And just remember, Bel Air.
Yeah,
Zach went 0-10 last week.
Terrible with our picks. So God bless. Let's get it done.
Maybe it's a little bit of that in me.
Right. We're pulling for you deep down.
All right. So this next one, we're gonna make sure Jeff avoids any insensitive jokes. Otherwise, we're gonna have a quick cut here. But we have Southern Local versus JFK, John F. Kennedy in Warren.
I've just got to say I'm going with Southern Local because they're our local team.
I'm going to go with that too. I was going to go with JFK just because, but nah, I'm going with Southern Local.
I know nothing about either.
I don't either.
I'm going with JFK just on the odd chance that Jeff makes another joke.
I'm going with Southern Local over JFK.
Next game.
All right. So we got some dead air there. That's fun. Our next game is the rematch game. Wheeling Park at Musselman.
Wheeling Park. Speed. Over Musselman.
Wheeling Park, because I want to go back down to Parkersburg, watch Wheeling Park play South again. A heck of a game the first time. We're going to stop at Wings, etc. Maybe get steak on a stick.
Maybe get Zach to come with us.
Talk to a potential future sponsor, future partner down in Marietta right before that as well. There's some things in the works.
Okay.
Might be happening. You know I'm the sponsor guy, which we're always looking for sponsors, local partners. Thomas at ovathletics.com. Reach out to me. We'll get it done. But that could be a good night to have a little bit of an event down there.
Definitely.
Too. But Park, get it done. I watched you last week. Too much talent all over the place on that field. Doc, I believe in you. Coach Marsh, I believe in you. Coach Phillips, believe in you. The players, I was on the field last week. I got selfies with all my lacrosse players while we were warming up and stuff like that. It was a great experience. Wonderful picture on our Facebook post. I'm going to write the article probably this evening, maybe tomorrow morning. I didn't get it. We film on Tuesday. I didn't get to it yet. I've been very busy this week, but Park's going to get it done.
I mean, listen, we got the scoop a little bit here as like some inside sources who shall remain nameless. But we found out that both teams agreed to the Thursday game because they were afraid of the inclement weather sort of slopping up the grass field a little bit. So they both agreed to a Thursday game. I think it edges Park's favor a little bit more there. I think if you're gonna reduce the slop, Wheeling Park comes out on top. Park with the pick.
Good pick.
All right. Our next game we come to is Weir at Roane County.
Weir, up and down, like we said, they played some really good games. They've played some not so good games. Again, being the local team, I'd like to see them move on. They belong in the playoffs. Weirton playoffs, football just goes together. But I think this is where their season ends. They had a pretty decent season, make the playoffs, but I'm going Roane County.
I'll stick we on that. Weir, God bless you. It's not it this weekend.
It's a tough sled.
Yeah,
it's a tough sled.
The coaches up there are great people.
They're great people, but it's hard to overcome when you've had the kind of up and down season that Bear has. I think when you've had the kind of up and down season that Bear has, I think Rowan County's going to pull this one away. Okay, when we come to Tyler Consolidated, traveling to Cameron to fit showdown with the Dragons.
The Knights and the Dragons at Cameron. Great facility, great people.
Love it.
You know, still one of our best articles that we've had on OVAthletics.com was from out at the Cameron game. We love going to Cameron. I think they continue their season. I think that they have too much speed, too much talent for Tyler. I look for Cameron to pull away late in this one.
And you get into the talent, you get into the coaching. There's a lot of good stuff going on the Cameron side of the ball. I know we talked about this off camera a little while ago with Tyler getting somebody back, the running back or something like that. Same time, I just think the Angels. I coached several Angels in my career, and they're legit. I know the coaching with Coach Brown, Coach Myers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cameron's going to get it done. It might be dramatic fashion this week. It might be a little closer than it was a few weeks ago. But Cameron, I believe in you. I know you're going to get it done. And you got to advance because we got to get back out there or somewhere Cameron's playing very soon. There's a matchup I want to see with Cameron a little bit later on. And handle your business this week so we can see this later.
I'm lone wolfing here. I've got Tyler pulling the upset here.
Don't you mean lone knighting?
Lone knighting here. The Knights are going to slay the Dragons this week, is my opinion here. I think that running back coming back is going to be a difference maker. I know Cameron's a little bit banged up. I think if there was a time for an upset, this is one of those. But hey, I went 0-10 last week, so what the hell do I know?
Nothing, according to the 0-10 record.
Hey, I got 9 wins the first week. I'm still hanging my hat on that one.
That's more than I've had every week added together.
Okay, our next matchup, we come to Dawson Bryant versus Fort Fry.
How can I say Fort Fry without saying triple option? Saw him play at Belair. Just that offense is just so hard to prepare for. As I talk about their offense, but I don't mention their defenses often. But wow, did they hit hard?
Yes.
So what Dawson Bryant's getting is the triple option team. They're not going to know where the ball's at. And then they're going to get a team that just hits you every single play on defense.
I think you said
Fort Fry big.
I think you said they were sending different blitzers on almost every play.
Yeah.
So they're
they come from everywhere.
Backer, theyey're blitzing corners, they're blitzing
come from everywhere.
They're flying all over the place.
Yeah.
Fort Fry, you heard those other two. That's all you need.
Second, or third, I guess.
Third.
Third.
Second,
Fry,
third, fourth,
Fry,
whatever.
Fry. All right, we come to Man at Wheeling Central.
Wheeling Central, Wheeling University. Wheeling Central wins. Big over Man.
It's at Wheeling University?
It's at Wheeling University.
I know where you're going off camera and stuff like that. The conversations. I'll go with Wheeling Central. I'm not going to add anything right now.
Here's the thing. I said earlier in the season, I went against my scruples, and I picked Wheeling Central. And they let me down. And I made a sweeping declaration that I was done picking Wheeling Central for the remainder of the season. I don't have a whole lot, Jeff, when it comes to the pick'ems, but I do have my scruples. I'm picking Man with the upset.
Now, I'll tell you what, Man comes into the single-A playoffs probably with the best nickname, the Hillbillies.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, great
nickname. They're the Man Hillbillies.
Great nickname.
I remember traveling to Man when I coached Bishop Donahue. We played at Man.
Yeah.
That's a great little field they've got down there.
I don't even know where it's at.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I couldn't tell
No.
You've been there, I couldn't tell you.
I rode the bus. I think our bus got lost on the way there. I mean, just wild.
No, it didn't get lost. You drive anywhere in West Virginia, you'll get to Man, and you'll get to see the Hillbillies.
All right.
Perfect.
And our last matchup, we have University at Hurricane.
You know, University has had some injuries this year, up and down a little bit this year. Hurricane, tough schedule this year. They play in that Charleston area. You know, they play that type of schedule with the big teams on there, the AAA teams. So they're battle tested. Hurricane's a good football team. Hurricane over University.
I was going to go to the beach this weekend, but a hurricane jacked up my trip, and hurricane sounds too much like hurricane, and I'm just not going to deal with it. University's going to pull the upset. Go Hawks.
Here's the thing. University is in what city, Jeff?
Morgantown.
Morgantown. So there's not just one university that's struggling with football this season. There's 2 universities struggling with football this season. Hurricane by 100.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yep, big one.
How about our tiebreaker, Zach?
Our tiebreaker this week is the River Caldwell score.
I can't wait for this game. I legit am excited to go to this game Friday night.
I picked Caldwell to win, so I've got to pick them in the tiebreaker, right? Caldwell, 28, River, 21.
I'm going to go to the opposite, 28-21 River. I'm not going to make it too hard.
I'm going River winning 35-34. Caldwell scoring a touchdown to bring it within 1. Going for 2 for the win, but coming up short.
That's specific.
I can't.
I love going specific here.
Yeah, hey, why not at this point?
Yeah.
Hey, I can't do any worse than I did last week.
Exciting game.
Hey.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
With our pick'ems, segment's now over.
Yes.
Why don't you pick yourself up some nutritional needs at High Valley Nutrition? They have your protein powders, they have your creatines, they have your multivitamins, and they have some expert knowledge.
Yeah, when you get older, we talked about this before. I'm older. I'm 50 at this point. Your numbers drop. Your muscle mass drops. Your bone density drops. Your testosterone drops. They can help you with that stuff. Women, you have issues on your side as well. Go see them. Talk to them. Nutrition is the number one thing you can do to help yourself in life. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to give you a health lesson tonight, but Zach and I are probably going to use a health lesson tonight.
Go to St. Clairsville to see him. Go to Steubenville to see him.
Yeah.
Go pick up some of your nutritional needs at a High Valley Nutrition.
You can't go wrong seeing those guys. Check them out.
Yeah.
Speaking of Zach and I, a little detox they have over there too might help you out once in a while too. So go see them over at High Valley Nutrition. They can help you get some of that poison out your system.
OVAthletics.com STREAMcast coming back to you again. Going to talk about just some wild card segment is what we have this labeled. Just some different things going on with OVAthletics.com, what we're looking to do in the future. I mean, there's some things that are coming up soon.
I mean, there's always stuff going on in the forums. If you haven't been on the forums lately, go check them out. I mean, there's always good conversation going on. Go on there, have a comment. I mean, I know Tom started up the Notre Dame thread. I mean, there's a lot of burgeoning activity there. I think there's a whole 6 clicks maybe.
I don't know, just they beat the number 4 team undefeated in the country last week.
They
Clemson.
did.
They took them to the woodshed.
That was a great win for them. I mean, if only they could play more overrated ACC teams.
All you Notre Dame fans in the Valley, please go there this week just to shut Zach up on that.
Yeah, great home win.
I'm a WU for Coach fan. They're worse than that.
Great win for Coach Freeman and great win for Notre Dame. But, hey, moving on with our OVAthletics.com.
Sorry, had to get my shot in there.
Listen to this. We have a wrestling preview show coming up.
You could say it's on the mat.
It is on the mat, Zach.
I think we may have pinned down a date for that segment, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Hey, it's going to be this Sunday, November 13th, from 12 to 3, okay, at the Silver Rail.
The Silver Rail.
Yeah. Come down
29th Street.
Come down to the Silver Rail.
Let's go.
Hey, get some food, get some drink, come down. Just watch us. We're going to have some great wrestling people there. We're going to talk about wrestlers. We're going to talk about some teams that are going to be the ones to watch in the High Valley, some matches that are going to be the ones to watch in the High Valley. It's going to be a great show.
Well, I think we're going to have a couple different levels represented, too. I've got a couple lines in the water to potentially talk about some Pee-wee wrestling in the area, too.
Yeah.
Just because I've always noticed wrestling is such a strong sport in the Ohio Valley. And, I mean, we can't not talk about wrestling if we're going to talk about athletics in the Ohio Valley. I mean, tons and tons of kids are involved in that from kindergarten the whole way up to seniors in high school. I mean, it's hugely represented. Up until my time starting at Wheeling Middle, I never really had an appreciation for wrestling until I got with Coach Sheelick there, and I coached wrestling with him that 1 year, and I was just astounded at the level of involvement, the dedication all these kids have, and we want to talk to some of these coaches. We want to talk to you guys about wrestling in the Valley, and that's one of those huge things. I built a passion for it once I got exposed to it, and we want to share that information with everybody else.
I'll add one thing on that. I think percentage-wise, or even not percentage-wise, we send more wrestlers to D1 schools, and they do well than any other sport in the Ohio Valley.
Well,
I really think we've sent kids to North Carolina State and
Penn State, a bunch of different places.
Even if you look at
they've won NCAA championships.
I mean, even looking at Division II, I mean, look at how many West Liberty wrestlers are Valley kids, and they compete in the Mountain East Conference for their title every single year. I mean, I think probably 60% of those kids on that West Liberty team are Valley wrestlers in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
and I mean, if you continue to take Valley wrestlers, you're going to continue to make a run on those because those kids are great. They're blue bloods. There's those kids that we've talked about on Friday nights. They're the kids we talked about on the mat. They're those kids that are doing everything. I mean, I mentioned Coach Sheelick. Both of his boys are wrestling at West Liberty. I mean, when we talked about Cameron Dragons, we talked about the Angels. The Angels are another football and wrestling team. I mean, it's one of those things, like football and wrestling in the Valley go together hand in hand, and I had a huge passion for the football in the Valley, and then I started to gain that appreciation for wrestling, and I think it's one of those things that's underrepresented, so we'd love to represent it. We'd love to talk more about it.
Yeah, you talk about how hard kids work.
Oh, unbelievable.
You talk about wrestlers going to work.
Oh, my goodness.
Harder than anybody.
I mean, honestly, I always joke with my wife, if I would have wrestled in high school, maybe I would have had more discipline at keeping certain weights.
Hey, Zach, there's only one weight. That's heavyweight. All right. So if you're wanting help, if you want to be part of the show,
absolutely,
let us know. So you can email Tom at thomas@ovathletics.com.
Yep.
You can email myself, Jeff at ovathletics.com. You can post on our message boards. You can hit us up on Facebook.
The comments of this video?
Yeah, the comments to this video. We're looking for some assistance. We have some great people coming in. But if you'd like to be a part of the wrestling preview show, let us know. Thomas at ovathletics.com, Jeff at ovathletics.com, on Facebook. Comments here on the video. We'd like to see you there. And if you want to be a part of it, let us know.
I mean, seriously, it's one of those things that I would again, I built that passion for it, and I want to share that a little bit. It's really fantastic. Wrestling in the Valley it's just like football. There's nothing like it. I mean, it's got that feel. When you walk into a match, when there's that wrestling match going on and you feel it. I mean, the OVAC tournament, when that wrestling tournament comes to town and it's ready to roll and it's down at West Banco Arena.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything quite like the OVAC wrestling tournament.
No, I don't think there's any high school wrestling tournament in the country like that.
I don't think there's anything quite like that, and that's one of those things we want to talk about it. If you have a memory from that, shoot us a message. Tell us about it. We'd love to hear about it. We'd love to talk about it.
How about something else coming up, Zach, in the future? Look out the next couple days for nominations for the ovathletics.com All Valley football team. We were asked about it. We're gonna put an All Valley team together. We're gonna need your help. Okay, we're going to put nominations out there. We're going to let you vote, and we're going to put the best Valley team together.
Yeah. So what we're thinking we'll do for that is we'll take a form of some semblance. We'll post the forums, maybe an article. We'll see how that sort of ties together. But essentially, you guys will get to be able to submit to us a player's name, their position, and what school they're at. And then, hypothetically, when we get to the voting segment, you and I can dig through Huddle a little bit and maybe put some highlight tapes of those players together so you can watch those players before you vote. Yeah. Maybe we could roll it out in a few weeks a little bit there for you guys to take a look at it. But it's one of those things, look for the voting form here soon, or not the voting form, but the submission form, because that's something we can put together pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I'm looking forward to, and I think the kids will be looking forward to it too.
I know I'll be watching all the tape on the linemen so I can make those nominations, because you know how much I love watching lineman film.
Now, do I get to nominate and vote? I don't know if do I get to nominate?
I mean, I don't see why we couldn't throw in some nominations. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, open to the public. We'll throw in some nominations.
Yeah, because I've already got some names that I throw out all the time, and I don't know if I could pick we might have to do first and second team with all my nominations.
Listen, I'm gonna have to nominate my boy Derek Krogan from Wheeling Park High School. I coached him at Wheeling Middle. He was a tough kid then, and he's a tough kid now. I'm definitely gonna nominate him for sure.
Okay. So many good kids in the Valley.
So many.
I look forward to that part.
Honestly, here's the thing: we might even be able to end up coming with a first team, second team. I mean, there's enough kids in the Valley that are represented. I think we could probably even get away with that.
And enough great talent.
Oh, there's tons of talent.
Yeah,
nothing
definitely.
like it.
Yeah. How about something else? Some previews that we're going to be doing. We're going to do a girls basketball preview and a boys basketball preview. And what we're asking for is some help with this one as well. Me having coached on the girls' side at John Marshall and at Sherrard for many years, girls' connections are out there. I have some boys' connections, but we want you to be a part of it. Coaches, former coaches, athletic directors. If you think you know about the girls and boys basketball scenes in the Ohio Valley, let us know. Send a message to Tom at thomas@ovathletics.com. Send a message to myself, Jeff at ovathletics.com. Comment on this video. Go to Facebook and say, hey, I'd love to be on your preview show for the basketball. I think I know the most about the girls or boys side of basketball in the Ohio Valley.
Well, and then even in regards to that, so our basketball previews, fine and dandy, but I think there was a little bit of rumblings that we're putting together some stuff on some middle school athletics too, some Pac-8 stuff that might be coming out here in the near future.
Yeah, I do. I'm putting together a Pac-8 championship article for all of our championships in Pac-8. We've had cross country, we've had volleyball, we've had football, and we have cheer coming up. So once all those are completed and once all the seasons are completed, be looking out for ovathletics.com and a little youth stuff, a little Pac-8
I think it would be
information.
fantastic, because you and I are both so familiar with the middle school scene. I thought we'd throw that in there a little bit there too. So we have our basketball preview. We have our summary of the Pac-8 fall sports seasons coming up. I think there's one other thing we're looking for here.
Yeah, we're looking for an intro and an outro from a local high school band that's not copyrighted. We can't have copyrighted information. We're looking for about 30 seconds. So if you have, if your students in the band, or if you're in a drum line, or if
marching band, anything.
If you're looking and you're watching a video and a neighbor or a relative, somebody that's in a high school band, or your neighbor teaches band or has the band at a certain school, we're looking for about a 30-second intro and outro that's not copyrighted that we could use here at ovathletics.com on the STREAMcast. Email Tom at thomas@ovathletics.com, or email myself at jeff at ovathletics.com, and let us know. We'd love to have a local band doing an intro and outro for ovathletics.com StreamCast.
And here's the thing, if we get multiple segments, that's super easy for us to do in post, to be able to modify that a little bit. We'd love to give you guys a shout out, throw a little banner on the side like saying, hey, this is this week's marching band, or this week's drum line, or this week's orchestra, even if we have something coming together there. I mean, whatever you guys can put together, we'd love to have it on the show. Again, the non-copyrighted thing's a huge deal there. Original composition, drumline, whatever you have, we'd love to hear it. And I'd love to hear these guys try to describe to me the music that they hear. It would be fun for me.
Yeah, definitely. And that wraps it up for this week, Zach. We had our game recaps, our previews, our pick'ems, just a wild card segment to give you some stuff to look at that's coming to ovathletics.com. It seems like there's something new. Every week, Tom's bringing in something new. You're bringing in something new. I'm bringing in something new. We're looking to grow. We're looking to expand. If you have any ideas, let us know. Let us know on Facebook. Send us an email at the email addresses. Thomas at ovathletics.com. Jeff at ovathletics.com. Comment on our video here. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and then just be sure to like, subscribe, anything you can. We post on our podcast network. Be sure to rate us 5 stars, review us. It helps us reach a broader audience. Our last segment there, Jeff, was our wild card segment.
Yes.
And the last thing you want to do is you don't want to play a wild card with your health. You want to make sure that go see our good friends at Ohio Valley Nutrition. Make sure that you guys are getting your daily nutrition needs. Go out, see them, talk to them. Again, they're gonna give you a great amount of information. They're gonna help you sort of come up with a nutrition plan that works best for you.
They're gonna get you all your multivitamins. They're gonna get your protein shakes. They're gonna get anything you need in regards to your nutrition to help aid in your diet already. And they know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. Visit them at St. Clairsville. Visit them in Steubenville. Mention us. Mention Ohio Valley Athletics, OhioValleyAthletics.com, OhioValleyAthletics.com StreamCast. Let them know that you saw us here. That helps us out. That's going to help them out. They're going to know that you saw it here and you're getting your nutritional needs from Ohio Valley Nutrition.
And with that, we'll go ahead and sign off, Ohio Valley. It was great having you be a part of our team. Let us continue to represent your teams.